What is one unknown aspect of your opponents that you think should be known? Dun, 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 dun.
When it comes down to an unknown aspect, I think that all three of us are outstanding leaders. Stephen, he's led us well as vice president. Mike, he took over a difficult job in operations, and they both excelled at it. I think I can do better because I've had over 20 years experience working with large groups of people. I've run combat operations overseas. I've worked with organizations of over hundreds of people. And I've actually worked with the military organizations to keep people from being evicted. And I found ways to get loans for soldiers in need. Having that type of a background, I feel, would allow me to transfer those to the student environment to make myself available and help out students.
Okay, Mr. Wilson. Careful.
I think all the opponents have the potential to do a great job with coaching. We would just have to learn how to keep our composure all the time and be prepared for any and everything. Thank you.
Mr. McConnell.
One unknown aspect of both of my opponents that I'm glad I've gotten to see, being a non-traditional student like David, he and I formed a good friendship when we were both senators together. And one aspect of him that most people don't get to see is his sense of humor. He's a very, very funny guy and very laid back, but in SGA meetings he's very passionate, so sometimes that doesn't come out. Stephen also has a fantastic sense of humor and is a very fun and funny person, and I enjoy being with him. But again, in SGA meetings he tends to take a more serious approach. So I think the unknown aspect of both of my opponents is the lighter side of their personality.
Mr. Huber.
As a rebuttal, I'd like to say that an unknown quality in both of my constituents, and also opponents, is that if they don't win president, I would still want them on SGA in vital roles helping the needs of the community, because they are outstanding leaders. So no matter who wins, you're going to get people who represent Kennesaw's best interests.
Mr. Wilson. All right. The next question goes to Mr. McConnell first. Oh, Mr. Rebuttal, I'm sorry. I thought I went around it.
We just did 3 questions. I don't think we even did a rebuttal.
I just started a rebuttal. Sorry, I didn't get it yet.
He forewent the rebuttal, so it's your turn.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Never mind.
Yeah, this is going to be the last question, and then we'll get to the closing statements. And I think, Mr. McConnell, you get the question, or Mr. Wilson? You get it. Mr. Wilson. All right. As a commuter student who has been here about a year, I have found that I do not know much about how student government works. How will you work to improve student awareness if you win the upcoming election?
If I win the upcoming election, first I'll work with the KSU 1101 classes to make it mandatory to come to SGA so they know where we are, what we're about. Publications are everywhere about SGA, so if people are blind, that would be the only excuse that they don't know about SGA, in my opinion. We could get more money to order more t-shirts, get people to come out to more events that we have. We should also do a better job at the programs that we actually have, because this was the first year that SGA actually started doing programs, and they're actually coming up next week on the 18th and the 19th.
Mr. McConnell.
There is definitely a lot of publicity out there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of publicity for everything, so I can certainly understand why a lot of students would miss flyers and things like that, just because there's so much information overload. One thing I think that we as SGA should do is try and develop what is called a signature program. It's a service that is directed at the students, that provides a need, that is only provided by SGA. It's a brand awareness sort of a thing for marketing purposes. I think that would increase not just our visibility on campus, but would also show students how much we actually do for them.
Mr. Huber.
A lot of great ideas. Once again, you got a lot of talented people. However, my own different spin on this would be, I love orientation here at campus. I think it's fun and it's a great way to bring people into the fold. That being said, as president, I would want to show up to tell students we're there for you, tell them where our locations are, what our times are, so that they're aware of the situation even before they come to the university. That way, if they want to get involved on day one, they can show up and they can start to see their interests being represented. I'd also like to see a column in the newspaper, the Sentinel, done up, detailing who we are, what we're doing, how we're looking out for students, and also give students the opportunity to reply in the paper through the press about what they need to have happen. It could be a very interesting and unique way of getting direct student involvement.
Okay, 1 minute rebuttal.
One thing I would also like to do is to try to have meetings at different times, just to get different groups of people, because everyone is not on campus Tuesdays or Thursdays. Some people come Monday, Wednesdays. So that'll be another idea to get more people. And also either work with our radio or ITS to actually air SGA or to archive it on our website.
Mr. McConnell.
I think all those ideas are absolutely fantastic. It's unfortunately very hard for any organization to make itself known and aware and increase students' awareness of it, simply because we're all competing for students' attention. So one thing I think that maybe SGA could try and do is figure out a way where we can coordinate some of the efforts of different student groups to let students know that they're available, so that there is a single resource that they can go to instead of having to see a large amount of flyers on a bulletin board and have to say, I don't have time to look at any of this stuff.
Mr. Hoover.
Working with the existing organizations is a great idea. That being said, we should make sure that someone from an organization, a college, or a representative is there. Best ways would be open houses, some in the morning, some in the evening, done by the colleges. We have plenty of students who represent these organizations that we can split people up so that they can directly interact with students. We just need to make sure that we vary the times and advertise in advance so that students can get it. We also need to use more of the newer technology with social networking, ITS, and also webisodes to let students realize that we're transparent, we're open, we're there for you.
All right, it's time to move to closing statements.